Dr. Heather here, and I want to talk to you guys about plantar fasciitis, that ouch that you may be feeling in your foot. But first of all, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. There's a lot of great content on here. I take a lot of the traditional PT exercises and stretches that you would normally do, and we try to advance them a little bit further by incorporating a lot more things that you can do using a BOSU, a TRX, some of the other things that you may have access to, whether it be at home or at your local gym. So again, if you have subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for always watching. And as always, throughout the course of the video, if you find some of the content helpful, please do give it a like. So like I said, I want to talk to you guys about plantar fasciitis and the fact that it can be one of those most annoying, uncomfortable pains that we can experience, because a lot of times we can't figure out why it's been triggered, what's going on, and how that all works. So as always, if you've been watching some of my videos, you know I love to kind of educate you guys on what's been going on and how to better rid yourself of that pain by first looking at the anatomy. So I have my friend Mr. Super Skeleton here. So let's just kind of break down the anatomy of the plantar surface. So as we know from what we already experienced, that that plantar surface is all about on that back side of that foot, essentially from the heel, our calcaneus, all the way down to the very bits of the metatarsals on the back side. And a lot of times we complain about pain. The first steps that we take in the morning, when we get out of bed, all of a sudden we're like, why is it excruciating? It hurts to put pressure on it. A lot of times you can't even run. Walking is very uncomfortable. So the first things that we usually look at when dealing with plantar fasciitis is trying to figure out the root cause, because a lot of times, even if you are stretching the calf, you're doing all the foam soft tissue work to the bottom of the foot, a lot of times the pain and discomfort isn't going away, which is why we're going to start today to really look at dealing with plantar fasciitis in a different way. So a lot of you guys all know that I talk a lot about the kinematic chain, which is literally that whole chain that runs up, and really starting to address, well, if the plantar fasciitis is starting to now creep in, what are those other things that could be creating it? Are you prone to shin splints? Have you had issues with your Achilles tendonitis? Have you had any knee discomfort in terms of, are you having any what we call maltracking of the knee, the patella? Are you having any issues up at the hip? Are you noticing that you heel strike the ground more when you run? So it's starting to really look at what's going on in terms of other areas that may be contributing to the plantar fasciitis. Is it the gait when you're running? What really seems to be going on there? So like I said, today we're going to take a little bit more of an unconventional approach when dealing with plantar fasciitis by starting to now figure out how to best deal with it so it really does truly go away. So as always, we're going to start with the basic stuff first. So that's where we're going to head over to now. We're going to look at that soft tissue and the classic things that you would do to alleviate plantar fasciitis. And then we're going to take it a step further and show you some stuff that you can incorporate to eliminate that plantar fasciitis further, and then hopefully just rid it completely away from your symptomology. All right, guys, so now let's go ahead and head over to the soft tissue bit with the foam roller. Okay, as I mentioned, when dealing with plantar fasciitis, we want to look at first the more conventional ways to deal with the plantar fasciitis, which starts off with the soft tissue. So if you're truly having that pain and discomfort on the plantar surface of the foot, the sole of the foot, we want to start with some massage techniques. So I'm going to come and sit down in my chair. I have my shoes off because I'm going to be taking my ball now and using the ball to massage out the bottom of my foot. I like sitting in a chair and doing this because I like to feel a little bit more comfortable. You do want to do it, where you have gravity. You can put a little bit of force, a little bit of, pressure on that area, because like with anything that we do with the soft tissue, we want to put some pressure. And simply, we're just going to go ahead and allow the ball to go from the heel, the calcaneus, all the way up to the little bits of the toes, getting all the way out to the phalanges, all the way up to that metatarsal, that toe the ball of the foot area, try to get into the inside, into the arch as well. And you want to do it like maybe 10 times, roll around a little bit on it, good pressure. Now, when it's really sensitive, after you've done that, it's a good idea to, kind of take the ball away, take a bag of ice, and then just place the foot on the ice. Do make sure you have a sock on so you don't get any frostbite on the bottom of the foot. So you want to kind of cool it down, and then I would recommend going back to the ball, doing the massage work again to the bottom of the foot, and then ice again. So repeating twice or 3 times is sufficient. But also to remember, even though you might be having plantar fasciitis on one side, again, always look at doing both sides when it comes to soft tissue work, because it is actually important to make sure that both sides are equally getting broken down with their tissue. And as I've been addressing in some other videos, the importance of flexibility and mobility. So we use the soft tissue to increase that flexibility. So then as we go and start working on the mobility, getting the movements back into that ankle, into that foot, they're better for us as we start to go ahead and develop the strength back into the program. Okay, so that is one of the conventional ways to work out the soft tissue for plantar fasciitis. Now, the next thing we want to do, staying with our soft tissue, as I put my shoes back on real quick, is looking at using the foam roller. Okay, so now when we talk about using the foam roller, when we are dealing with plantar fasciitis, we actually want to go ahead and massage out our shins and our calves. Okay, so you're probably thinking, okay, but Dr. Heather, my pain is at the bottom of my foot. All right, well, remember something that I had already addressed. We want to look at that kinematic chain. Usually people who are prone to plantar fasciitis or have issues with plantar fasciitis are either having shin splints, whether they're anterior or posterior, or they're having that Achilles tendonitis discomfort because, again, they're trying to run through the pain, so now they're creating another type of issue. So guys, again, it's very important that even though you're going to work out the plantar fascia, we want to address the shins. And for more review on how to work out the shins, go see my 3-part series on shin splints. And if you're having more Achilles issues, check out the Achilles tendonitis video. So guys, really quick, a quick rundown. Come place the shins onto the foam roller, splay the knees a little bit so you do get that shin off to the side, hands on the floor, and just nice and easy, kind of rocking up and down, putting some pressure into the area. If the shins are really sensitive, then just hold those spots for a little bit of time. Now again, like I said, you still want to do the calf as well. So we're going to flip ourselves over. I'm going to put my left leg out on top. I'm going to flex the foot towards me, and I'm going to come up, and I'm going to go ahead, really work out the calf, but also too, don't forget, get those perineals on the other side as well, because that's just equally as important, and hit those pressure points. Okay, so there we have it. We just did the soft tissue bit, dealing with the plantar fasciitis. Now what we want to do is we want to look at some stretches. The first stretch we want to do is obviously to try to stretch out that plantar surface. So with that being said, I'm going to just take my chair here. I can come in, I can put my heel up against the floor, just like so, really making the foot come up high. Putting my foot at this angle without even really stretching my calf at this point. If your plantar fascia is that tight, you are going to feel a stretch here, okay? Now, you could go onto Amazon and buy that lovely little blue rocking kind of stretch device for the Achilles. That's also very good for the plantar fascia. Or, like I said, come here, just hold this position. If you don't really feel it that much, bring those hips forward and really allow for that calf to get stretched, that Achilles to get stretched as well, which again, if you're having true plantar fasciitis discomfort, you're going to feel in that plantar surface as well. So right there, that would be our main focus, is start to focus on stretching out that calf. The other thing we do want to do is we actually want to go ahead and we want to stretch out our anterior shin. So what we would do is, if this is a step or a bench, I'd come up on top, and then what I would do is allow my foot to press in, and again, stretching out the shin itself. So I'm pushing my laces up against something, trying to go ahead and get my shin to stretch out there as well. So repeating again, we break down the tissue, get that going a little bit. If it's very irritated and inflamed, putting some ice onto that area so it allows for some cooling, pushes the inflammation out. Then we would look at stretching our calf, our shin. Now, like I said, we want to start looking at the exercises you could do to really help rid yourself of plantar fasciitis. Now, what's going to happen is, guys, we want to go into balance work. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, balance work, plantar fasciitis, how is this all working? Well, wait a second, she's been talking about this kinematic chain. Yes, and that's correct. So a lot of what we want to talk about now is the fact that we have this issue going on at the bottom of our foot. It's very important now to address what's happening when the foot meets the ankle and that relationship, and the only way to do that is to really work through balance. Okay, so now, like I said, we want to address the balance component because we want to work on that foot and ankle. Okay, so the best thing to do is to try to use a BOSU. If you don't have a BOSU and you have a Dynadisc, for some reason you bought one years ago, go dust it off. And if you don't have that, but you have, like, say, a dog's bed or a cat's bed, something that has a decent amount of foam, you could take a foam block and stand on it, because that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to stand on a foam block. So even if you have like a pillow at home that's not an overly fluffy pillow, you could use that on the floor. And again, if you have comments or questions regarding what you could use to recreate this balance exercise, drop some comments down below and I will make some suggestions based upon what it is you have access to. So like I said, guys, this is a little bit more unconventional because now we're going to take it a step further, getting you ready for that strengthening part. Now, I will recommend doing balance work barefoot because you do want the plantar fascia now to feel out the surface, really stretch itself out, and allowing for that foot and ankle to really kind of now have some good mobility. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my shoes. Okay, so we've gone ahead and taken off our shoes. We're going to go ahead and now we're going to step up right on top of the BOSU. Okay, like I said, anytime we do anything with the BOSU, we want to really just first, stand on it with 2 feet, get our balance, get our proprioception going. That's going to be very important. Once you feel like you have good balance and proprioception and you're not really kind of swaying from side to side, you can stand up nice and tall. The next thing you're going to want to do is really actually try to take your foot to the center of the BOSU, and you're going to want to try to go ahead now, lift that opposite leg up and just kind of hold here and allowing that ankle to really kind of feel the balance and allowing for the tissue to push down into the BOSU, stretching out that plantar fascia. So again, we're going to come here just nice and easy, just going to stand on that one leg, get that balance, get that proprioception going, and then from there step down, and then you're going to come back up and you're going to go ahead and switch legs, and again allow yourself just to kind of feel out that balance. And honestly, you can see my ankles might need a little bit of work. All right, so that's step 1. So you're going to go ahead just trying to do some balance. Once you kind of have that done, the next thing you could do, and again, you can do this off of a pillow as well, or say a couple blankets, towels, anything like that that's going to give you an uneven surface. You're going to come up, all right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to essentially now balance on one leg, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take it a little step further, and we're going to try to go ahead, point the toe to noon, then come out to 9, and then come behind to 6. So again, what we're doing is now we're allowing our body to kind of go through multiple different planes of motion, being that, now proprioception, balance is going to change when I bring my leg to the front part of my body, off to the side, and then behind my body. Just so you know too, I'm not actually leaning forward. I'm really trying to make a conscious effort as well to stand up nice and tall. When you do this, just so you know, you are going to feel the calf really starting to burn out. You're going to feel that calf really engaging for balance, which is going to be helpful because we want to take the tension out of that plantar fascia, and we want to really start getting, like I said, that ankle mobility going, even when we're working with plantar fasciitis. So guys, like I said, that's the next way you could progress, to really start working on healing yourself from that plantar fascia and starting to address more with the ankle mobility. I have other videos on the channel that really address, strengthening the ankles and looking at proprioception work. So do check those out as well, because they'll start to take what we're already starting to talk about and enhance it a little bit further. All right, guys, so if you have any specific questions regarding your plantar fasciitis, why it might not be going away, drop some comments down below. And if you found some of this material in today's video helpful, do give it a like. And if you haven't currently subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe today. As always, guys, this is Dr. Heather, and hope you have a great day.